Hello, just came back from the first session that I've just done at 7 a.m. Actually, that's a lie. It's 3 p.m. right now and I've done both sessions, but I'm going to pretend like this bit was from the morning because I didn't record then. But there was something I wanted to talk to you about, which I feel like is a really important lesson. So if you've got like 10 minutes, I really think this would be worth your time. And I wanted to talk to you about what we can call mommy energy and daddy energy. And there's a lot of guys who are operating from mommy energy. And if you're one of them, you'll struggle in your dating life. You won't take risks. You'll be stuck making decisions for ages. So if you relate to that, like the concept of there's a decision you need to make, like whether you should go to university or not, or which business model or career you should do, or which girl you should, or whatever it is. And it's like the same decision stays in your mind for weeks. Like, did you know that there's guys who they have a decision to make and they make it within 20 minutes and it actually works out for them, but other guys, it takes them 20 days to make a decision. If they make it at all, other guys are literally procrastinating making a decision for weeks. And they're so scared of choosing the wrong thing. They're scared of the risks and the suffering they might have to go through. And I feel like a lot of guys who watch this kind of content, unfortunately, might actually have more of the mommy energy than you realize. A lot of guys in our generation do. That's why I call it the mommy energies, because I have a feeling like it's the guys who are closer to their mothers, or at the very least had quite distant father figures, that they end up just kind of living life how their mommy wished they would. Safe, comfortable, no risk. It's the equivalent of like not going fast on your bicycle when you're a kid. Imagine two parents, a mom and a dad, watching you on your bicycle. If they were in their sort of natural energies, your mother would have anxiety watching you ride it for the first time, and she'd tell you to be careful, don't go so safe, don't go to the grass over there, it's wet, watch out, wear the helmet, and she'd just fucking nag you to be safer, to overthink. And a child that listens to that, especially a boy, imagine like that much level of like fear mongering for a boy who should be adventurous. For the dad, he'll literally push you to go faster. And when he knows you're about to fall and it's not going to give you a serious injury, he might actually let you fall, because he knows that there's going to be a whole life of learning lessons built from that. Do you see the difference between mother and father energy, mommy and daddy energy? Most guys, I think, are in mommy energy these days. And, they listen, like we listen too much to our mothers. And, bless them, they're sweet women. They didn't mean to cause us harm. But if we have to be honest, our mothers made us into fucking pussies. That energy is okay for a mother to give to her daughter, because her daughter should be kept safe. It makes more sense for a daughter to be less adventurous. It just makes more sense, right? You can call this inequality or whatever, but it just makes more sense naturally for a woman to be less adventurous than a man. We should have been more adventurous. Imagine this dynamic of a group of kids are out on their bike, and it's the one daddy energy young boy who is the one who's doing like stunts on his bike. It's the one who's like, trying harder. He's about to jump over this like little mound or something, this little hole in the field, whilst the mommy energy boys stand around with their hands like this, like kind of like that, they're just watching him from the side like this, like little pussies. Like instead of taking part, instead of learning to see what's happening so they can do it, they just sit there and they just kind of like, yeah, they just watch from the sidelines. Apologies, I'm like 90% naked right now, so hopefully no one got any no-fap triggers. Yeah, and so look, if you find yourself being in mommy energy and you'd rather be the daddy energy man, right? So the daddy energy is like that young boy who's the one who's about to jump over the thing on his bike, or he's the guy going faster or something. And when you get older and you turn about 18, 20 years old, the daddy energy is the young man who ends up leaving his hometown and going on adventures and getting his driving license early, traveling and doing like some random trip. It's the decisive young man who just like tries one business model and ends up popping off, or he tries like a career. Instead of overthinking, he just tries. Instead of overthinking, he just goes up to the girl. It's that simple. Whilst the mommy energy boys stare at the girl thinking, oh, I can't speak to her. She's got her headphones in. I'll wait till she's done with this set. I'll wait till she's done with that set. I'll wait. Oh, she went home. The mommy energy boys take the bus home and wank. The daddy energy boys, they just go up to the girl and just speak to her. They shoot their shot. They just try the business model or the career. They get rejected a bunch of times and then eventually it works for them. And most guys are in mommy energy where they just won't try. They just keep overthinking. So if you feel like you relate to this, then you need to take action. And the way to do this is with basically pretending you are your own father. Like if you imagine the father who's watching his son ride a bicycle for the first time, and he knows that his son's going to be relatively safe. Like he might fall over and hurt his, scrape his leg or something, but it's going to be fine. The father would allow that to happen. He'd be interested to see it happen. Why? Because he's wise. Because he knows that with a scar comes an important lesson. The father is the one who can make decisions for himself and for the family. And he equips you to make the decision, whereas often it's the mother who makes you overthink and is like more fear-mongering. And of course, there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be some guy saying like, oh, my mom's not like that. Yeah, of course. Well, we're just making like a weird analogy or rule or something here, just like a framework for you to understand things, right? Of course, that this doesn't actually have to be specifically related to your parents. But if you find yourself overthinking, if you find yourself not taking risks, if you find yourself being indecisive about which business model or career or sport or whatever it is, and you find that decisions take you ages. Like when I was younger, I used to go to like the store with my mum called Asda, like this big like supermarket, and I would go straight to the snack aisle, like to the sugar and the chocolate and stuff. And what I would do is I was often only allowed to get one thing, which was like pretty cheap, like less than like £1 or something. So I'd pick up like two things that I felt were like the top choices, and I would literally not be able to make the choice, to the point that I remember one day I had two different chocolate bars and I put them behind my back, pretending like I couldn't tell which one was which, and I was like switching them around. I was like, okay, the one in my right hand. And my brother walked up to me and he looked at me weird because he thought I was like shoplifting. He was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh no, I just can't make the choice, whatever. And there was another time when I was in college, so I must have been like 17 years old, with my friend who, me and him had started like weightlifting. Like he had a little garage gym and so did I. We didn't train together, but we just like, I got him into it basically. And so we were both kind of into like, fitness and gains and muscle and protein and everything. And so one day he came over to my house and no one was in the house, so we were just going to make food and watch a movie. And we're stood in the kitchen, and I swear, like, we open up the drawer where there's a ton of snacks. We're like, oh, like muffins and this thing and this thing. Then we stop and we're like, or I stop and we're like, wait, we're like, like, shouldn't we eat clean? Like, should we really have like a cheat day right now? We could have a cheat day, it'll be really fun, but then we will have to like lower our calories for tomorrow, and we need more protein tomorrow and stuff. You get my point. We just like overthinking. I swear we were stood there for at least like 15-20 minutes. Honestly, imagine two 17-year-olds stood in the kitchen for 20 minutes coping of whether or not they should have a cheat day. Because I just like, maybe he was the same, but I just could not make a decision as simple as like, should I eat this snack or not? It should take you like 2 minutes to decide, or even a minute, or even 30 seconds to decide. Like, does it align to my goals? If the answer is no, just don't fucking do it. It's that simple. But I just couldn't. And it wasn't really a willpower thing. It was an indecisive thing. It was like I was waiting for daddy, for the father to come in and tell me what to do. Just see how toxic that can be for a young man. Because then when you get a little bit older and daddy's not going to be there to save you, and the choices on which subject to study at university, or which business model to choose, or which country to travel to, which Airbnb to pick, which hotel, which car, and you can't, like, you struggle making these decisions. It's overwhelming for you because you're just waiting for daddy to tell you what to do. It's not a good life as a young man, right? So the way is, like, you've just got to act like the daddy yourself. You've got to act like the wise father, like have this like character in your mind of what the wise father would say, whether you imagine yourself or maybe you imagine like someone who symbolizes the father. Maybe it's like I don't know, some character, Uncle Iroh, or so, you get my point, like some character that you maybe have liked in a TV show or movie or something, and imagine what they'd say to you. You have to reparent yourself, which is so sad. Honestly, I was just gonna make this like a little light video. I was just gonna record because I didn't record something before kickboxing this morning. But it brings a fucking tear to my eye because think about what I've just said. Like, if you relate to what I've just said, the strategy is that you have to reparent because they just didn't do the job that they were supposed to. And they're not, like, our parents are not bad people for this. Forgive me for going on to like a tangent here. This is going to make me sound like a weird conspiracy theorist weirdo, so you can skip this if you want. But I just want to tell you, like, I genuinely don't think our parents are bad people for not raising us in the ultimate way. I think our parents were deceived and brainwashed by like the modern day bullshit governments, politics, media. Our parents, parents like in an animalistic sense, they just want to have children, like have offspring and protect them and see them grow and do see them healthy and strong. Our parents have quite largely failed at that. Like, the rate of young people's suicide, depression, gender change, weird shit like that is the highest it's ever been in human history. Our parents failed at their job to keep us safe and from harm's way. But I don't think it's their faults. I think they grew up in a system where trust in the system was completely normal. And they did not realize that the system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, the sort of like those in power, I think they just did not know that those in power were actually not on their side, including their own governments. I think this is where it gets dark as fuck, right? This is where we start talking about subversion and war tactics that one country may be using against another country invisibly to damage that country's morals and values. Like, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty clear. Like, there's evidence now to prove. This is going to make me sound weird as fuck, but I'm just going to say it, right? And you can skip this section, like I said, or you can think that I've completely lost it. But I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people know that, like, TikTok is like a weapon by the Chinese government, by the CCP. Like, by the way, if I disappear, I'm not suicidal or anything, and if I randomly get sick, you know that like it was some bullshit, bro. It was some bullshit. I'm happy. I'm everything's good. Everything's good with me. Okay. So if I you randomly hear oh, Hamza killed himself. Yeah, it's so strange. He just he just shot himself 7 times in the back and then executed himself once he was already on the floor. And he just did something crazy. It's like, don't believe it, bro. But it's actually, there's quite a lot of evidence these days. This is fucking weird for me to say, expecting some fucking Chinese man to break through my door now and fucking kill me. But it's pretty fucking clear that TikTok was an actual weapon of subversion, that it's literally bastardized the values in the West. Whether it was intentional or it was just something to propagate already the corrupting values that are happening there. This might go above the heads of a lot of simple younger guys, which I don't say to be offensive. So if you do see someone in the comments, don't be so mean to them if someone's saying this is all weird, Hamza's lost it, whatever. There's quite a lot of young guys who watch me, so I don't blame them if they think this is weird as fuck to say. But some of the older guys know what I'm talking about. Subversion is just a war tactic where basically you erode those their people's morals and values before you go to fight them, so that when you actually go to fight them, they aren't a cohesive group anymore because they are fighting with each other. For example, imagine we all owned a country and we were going to fight another country. Eventually we wanted to overtake them. If we go to fight that country, we might lose and there'll be an absolute bloodbath. But if we set up our next generation to fight them, we won't fight them today. We'll make them question their gender. We'll make them confused and distracted by pleasure. We'll tell them, we'll make the young male population focus more on looks, maxing, and appearance rather than becoming strong. We'll make their young female population sexualize themselves and promote themselves, and it be this cool, empowering movement for girls to take their clothes off and to dance in a sexy way and call it feminism. We'd erode strength, we'd send in products, which are filled with microplastics, estrogenics, whatever, so the men are turned into little bitches with lower testosterone. Then we'd set up our younger generation to go fight them in 50 or 100 years. Sounds crazy, and again, you, by all means, if you're like 15, you can go comment below. Hamza's lost it. Like my main channel gets a lot of these 15-year-olds who, whenever I talk about something a bit deeper than like, don't touch your willy, they're like, oh, this is crazy. This guy's officially lost it. I'm just like, you're 15 years old. Like, I make these videos for you, but at the same time, shut your fucking mouth. You're like a teenager. I'm just sorry for making a video that's too advanced for people, but I assume in this vlog channel I can talk a bit deeper. If you agree, like, comment below and tell me you like this like weird shit that I've like looked into. If you do actually think that this is weird as fuck, you can comment that as well, and I'll kind of keep this a bit more censored so that these videos are still more relatable to people. But I do have a feeling like the guys who watch this channel actually have done a bit of like research online, and they've seen some crazy things, and it's just kind of interesting to have someone who can talk about that, because this is important, bro. Like, there was a video I started a few days ago on this channel where I started with the quote, like, hard times create strong men. And even inside of that book, if you've read it, there's a book called Hard Times Create Strong Men by Stefan Ernio. It's a 10 out of 10 must read. Like, you have to read it. I command you, like, literally, you have to read it. There's no alternative. You have to go get the book right now. There's no affiliate link or anything, so you know I'm not benefiting. It's just like, it's a fucking human right, like a male, like, essential requirement. You have to go read Hard Times Create Strong Men, because what you'll realize is very red pilling, it's very brutal, that there is going to be absolute chaos, like absolute World War III level chaos. And it's already started. It's already started. And the reason why, or the reason how, is because a lot of countries, including mine, like the UK, and maybe yours, like US and India and wherever, like, they've been bastardized. Their values have been completely deteriorated. They've convinced the young men of that population to become weak, to get more into this mommy psychology, like what we spoke about before. They've eroded the quality of fatherhood, masculinity, strength, community, because it makes it easy to colonize a country where the men are all bitches. Right? I sound like an absolute fucking psychopath. I appreciate that. But I know for a fact a few guys have looked into this, and they're thinking like Hamza's 100% right. Anyone who disagrees with Hamza is just ignorant of like the research that they've done as well. So I don't mean this to be fear-mongering, but I just wanted to talk about this today because there's a individual consequence of this mommy weak energy in a lot of guys these days, which is that you'll be indecisive, you won't take risks, those kinds of things. But there's a societal problem with that, which is that when we have a society of guys with mommy energy and all of them are indecisive, all of them don't take risks, all of them behave in their comfort zones in low testosterone ways, that's a pretty juicy looking, like tasty looking society for other countries to consider taking over. We think, like, if you're watching this video, you probably are quite ignorant, no offense, but ignorance, that there's brutal, like, chaos in this world. Like, we've been protected from that, but you don't realize, like, if you've ever watched, like, those videos, like, I don't want you to, because it kind of sticks in your mind, but if you've ever watched, like, real war videos or videos of people who, like, are fighting each other or, you know, like, torture, shit like that. Like, I know it's fucked, but, like, you know, when I was, like, a teenager, I ended up, like, going onto that part of the internet, like, on these websites where you can basically watch, like, ISIS beheadings and whatever. I don't recommend doing that. And maybe I don't know, it says something about me. Maybe that's, like, a weird trait I had. But, you know, it's just morbid curiosity. And I know, like, a lot of people I spoke to have watched a few videos like that, right? And not telling you to do it, but I'm just explaining, like, sometimes you watch a video like that. Like, I saw a video a few years ago of, like, the Russia-Ukraine war, and I assume it is, but that's what people said anyway. And it was like a video of, like, one soldier, like, down on his knees and a group of soldiers around him on, like, opposite sides, and they basically grab, like, a fucking big ass knife, grab between the down soldier's legs and fucking slice his balls and his dick off, basically. And it's like, I know that sounds weird as fuck for me to mention, but just think about that for a second if you want to visualize it and ruin your day, right? But just think, that's war. That shit happens. That's a very, like, human part of war. the futuristic part of war is like 1 minute you're alive and the next you're just ash because a drone just fucking blasted you. There's dark shit that happens, right? And I think anyone who doesn't want to talk about this or think about it is definitely weaker, and is definitely kind of, they're scared of the dark human energy, the destructive energy. And it's interesting, the guys who are scared of that destructive energy, like a lot of men have, they're often more the psychopaths and the accidental murderers. Like, it's interesting, the guy who can speak about this with very little emotion, like, the reason why I can is because I feel like I've faced that dark part inside of me. Maybe not all the way, but at least I've had a few, insights into the fact that I've got the dark energy inside of me, just like every man does. I'm not afraid of it. But there'll be guys who are watching this and this guy's lost it, this guy's a psychopath. They're the guys I'm more afraid of, because they have not ever seen this energy inside of themselves. So when that kind of guy gets into a fight, he doesn't stop. And I'm not saying he's capable. He's probably some fucking skinny little retard. But that guy gets you like down on the floor. He'll grab your skull and bash it without meaning to, and then he'll whimper in court because he killed you or something. Or he'll he'll get a girlfriend and accidentally kill her or something because he had never known that he had this side to him. And he'll say, "Oh, it just happened." Right? I know I'm going on a tangent here. It's fucking weird what I'm saying, and I appreciate that. But like, when you have this like repressed energy, you're more dangerous, not in a good way, but in like a risky way. And that's what's often like these mommy's boys have. Like when you think about, okay, I told you about the consequences of the mommy energy, and it sounds crazy, right? All I was talking about at first was like, oh yeah, mommy watching you on the bike and telling you to go slower. Now I'm saying like, oh yeah, you've got potential to be a fucking weird psychopathic murderer. But I would assume so, bro. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of those weird serial killers, the school shooters and whatever, I'm pretty sure most of them didn't have father figures. Most of them were mommy's boys. Most of them just raised by mommy. A man raised by mommy is like a weak man, but like a dangerous psychopathic kind of man. Not always. Most guys are not. Of course, most guys don't commit crime, of course. But it can be. And I'm not saying it in like a cool way. I'm saying it in like, actually that's like an insecure fucking weak little bitch basically, because he can't harness his power. He doesn't have the strength to restrain himself. You're more of a powerful, dangerous man if you can control that dark part inside of you and then unleash it at the right times when, it's self-defense or it's in sports or whatever. Yeah, I just wish that for you to just think for a moment, if this is you and you're someone who's in more mommy energy, think about why. Think about the relationship you had with your mother compared to your father. How is it different? Comment it below because it'd be so interesting for the guys to get some insights. How was your relationship with your mother and father different? Was your father distant and was your mother closer to you? Was your father even in the home at all? Was your father just working all the time? Was your father abusive, so you were scared of him, so you spent more time with your mother? And then answer the question for yourself, how do you think you can stop being in mommy's energy? What can you do to father yourself? There's a few areas of your life that probably are starting to come to mind where you're thinking, oh yeah, I could probably like be more encouraging like a father to take a bit more risks in that area. To just try the business or the career that I'm thinking about, to just put my foot into the door of the job opportunity that I want, to just speak to the girl without worrying about the social consequence. I feel like that could help you. I just wanted to pass on that message today because it's a weird topic to talk about. And I'm just really glad for this channel that I have here because I feel like I can talk about more of the weird advanced things that sometimes come into my mind. If I can't, by the way, let me know if you want me to keep talking about like Don't Touch Your Willy part 99, part 7003, no fat video. Yeah, sure, I can go to that. We'll see how many like comments we get from 15-year-olds who say like, oh, Hamza's lost it, boys, whatever. But yeah, I've got like a good feeling that the guys who watch this channel are pretty mature, that we can actually talk about some deep shit, right? Because think about it, this entire series so far has all been the concept of rejecting degeneracy, becoming a stronger man. And you've got to think about what is becoming a stronger man for. Because you're receptive to the message, right? You think becoming a stronger man is cool. What is it for? Really think about it. What is it for? You might think your wife. No. What is it for? No, it's not money. It's not your work. Think about it. What is the reason why men need to become strong? Because there are enemies. Whether we live in a safe society which then the enemies are in sport. It's in other men that want to deep throat your future wife. It's in other men that want the market share of your business, or they want the same job as you. That's why you need to become strong, because there's other men who want what you want. There is an in-group and an out-group. That is just masculinity. It's tribal. Masculinity is tribal. What that means is we are part of an in-group, a tribe, and we need to become strong so our tribe is strong, so that way, when there is someone not from our group who isn't a part of like our group, our brotherhood, our tribe, when he tries to take from you, when he tries to like capture you in the sense of, if we're using like some caveman analogy, you have a stronger tribe than he does, and we can wage war and win. The whole point of becoming a strong man is to defeat other men. Now, here's the thing. Guys with low testosterone will comment and say, nope, wrong. I don't care about defeating other guys. I just care about becoming the best version of myself. High-pitched guys with skinny necks and low testosterone will comment that. They won't, because now I've shamed them, but they'll be thinking, oh yeah, Hamza's a fucking weirdo. But any guy with like any kind of inkling, connection to his ancestors, like to like just an innate understanding of masculinity will tell you, no, this is masculinity. It is absolutely tribal. Don't listen to this modern day bullshit that we are all safe and like you're not in a competition with anyone else. You're not in a competition with anyone else. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit. Anyone who tells you that, I swear to God, they're either a complete pussy or they look like strong guys, but they're saying that to appeal to the pussies because they want to basically harness their resources. Basically, it's like a strong guy who might make a video saying, oh, don't worry, just be better than you are. Like, you're not competing against anyone else. He's hoping that message gets him like viral on social media, but he doesn't actually believe it. You know that that's the truth because it's just objectively the truth. We as men compete with each other. That's why you need to become strong. And so we would be remiss if not to mention not a sort of individual competition of men, but more like a country to country competition of men, which is war, right? We'd have to sometimes mention the dark parts of this. Again, like I said, I could just skip over the deep conversations because if we're not ready for that, I understand. I really hope we are. That's why I'm like wording it in a certain way where I know like I'll see a bunch of likes on comments saying like, oh no, Hamza, talk about this shit. It's fucking interesting, right? We don't need a fucking how to get onto day 90 of no fat part 73 like most kids need. We wanted to learn about this deep thing of like, what do you think's happening in war? What do you think happens? Man gets captured, gets fucking tortured for information, and the guys who captured him rape his wife. Whether it's the caveman days or it's now, you think the fucking Genova's Convention of Euro fucking NATO or some shit is stopping this? Soldiers take over a new land. They'll enter a building that they think is like there's a terrorist in there or something. They'll kill a guy there. And they'll rape his wife. You know that's true. You just know it. Doesn't matter if fucking NATO or whatever the fuck, like government industry or some bullshit tells you like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't happen. You can just tell that it happens. You just know as a human being, as like a fucking natural human being, that's what humans do. There's dark things that guys don't think about because it just seems weird and psychopathic for us to have this conversation. But I don't want to just talk to you about pleasant, fucking cute, the light side of life, like, oh, let's just work hard and just be friends with everyone and, 1% better every day. I don't want to talk to you about this pussy shit. Sometimes you need to hear the dark things of life. And it's interesting because today's video was like about the mommy father energy. The father energy is the one who actually lets you into the darkness, especially for his sons, right? Maybe not for his daughters, but the father, when the son is off age, the father brings him to the darkness. If you've ever watched the movie 300, of course, it's just like a fantasy movie or something, but it's a pretty good reflection of maybe what happened back in the Spartan days, where a boy was raised to be incredibly tough, incredibly hard. And when he came off age, like 11, 12, 13 years old, he was basically just thrust into the fucking wild. And if he comes back as a man. If he doesn't come back, then he wasn't a man and he dies, right? The father is the one who brings the boy into the dark of the world, the death, the humiliation, the sacrifices, the punishment. And I'm not saying I'm your father or anything like that, but I'm just like a guy who maybe I can do that for you a little bit. Sometimes maybe we need to talk about some dark shit. We can talk about cute stuff like, oh guys, I'm, kickboxing's going really well and like I'm feeling really happy. We can talk about that and that's nice. Sometimes we just need to acknowledge the darkness. That's why I just wanted to talk about this today, because maybe by you watching these videos, you're going to pick up more of this, like the father energy that I'm putting onto myself, because I sometimes, not always, but sometimes think about this. Go on. I'm going to play a clip of kickboxing now from the 2 p.m. session that I was in. Goodbye. Mwah.
One. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, slip 2. Stop. 1. 1, 2. Slip 2. 1, 1.
Okay, finished up with James, 2 hours today. One at 7 a.m. and then one at 1 p.m. Feeling good, like I came in, I was super tired, and my leg was like proper aching and stuff, so we didn't do many low kicks today. But other than that, pretty good. Good push then. We did a bunch of like sparring practice. We had our first viewer come up to us today. We were just here before our morning session, and yeah, this guy comes up to us. He's like, "Oh, yeah, Hamza, like I'm here because of you," and like, "Oh, there's James, whoa!" So I said, like, "Oh, go say hello to James," and because I knew it would be quite special for him. So he was like, "Oh, you know, like nice to meet you." So we sat down, had like a coffee with him, and yeah, it was awesome, like nice dude. And then as we were leaving, another guy recognized us from the videos as well, and he was like, "Oh, you know, I've seen the videos and everything." Like, it's nice, man. We've got like good amount of guys like starting in the gym, kickboxing, which is nice, man. It's good impact to have on the men around the world. So, yeah, feeling fulfilled. Tired but fulfilled is the motto. Physique's looking pretty good though. For barely training. We're gonna leave it there. Any last words, James?
Ah, bro, fucking good session. Oh shit, this is new, bro.
I'll zoom into your face, second.
Getting better. Yeah, man, that's it.
I went on 3 times Zoom.
Huh?
I went on 3 times Zoom. It's just half your face. I can't even see the rest of your head, bro. It's just eyes and a nose right now.
Man, making me insecure, bro.
You get awkward on camera.
Oh, I'm getting super.
Yeah, sorry, bro.